Ready? We are ready and we are going live. What is up, everyone? Harry the Big Dog here with DJ Interview. I'm hoping the tech gods will be with us today. It just started storming out here. It got dark and it started storming. I'm looking out the window on the side of me. So today we are blessed with our special guests, but I just want to make sure everyone is okay. Give me a shout in the chat. I want to thank everyone coming from Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, checking in. All right, we got some check-ins coming in slowly right now. Put in the chat where you're coming in from. That way we can know who to shout out. All right. So we're coming up on the hour. I think, well, we're at our ish. So let me make the intro. Again, this is Harry the Big Dog with the DJ Interview. And I got a very special guest. He's coming all the way from North Carolina, representing Charlotte, in the Charlotte area. Let's give it up for DJ DarkFada.
Peace.
What is up? We got ATL checking in. What's going on with you? How's the weather out there? It just started going crazy out here.
Yeah, man, it's hot as ever. It's been in the 90s like for a week and a half.
For real, it's been hot here in Virginia too. Yeah. We ain't that far. I'm only about 6 hours from you. But it's been really, really hot, and the weather just went crazy.
Yes.
So, a few check-ins from ATL out in the Georgia area. What's up?
Okay.
So let's get this thing going. First, introduce yourself. You can give your government name if you want, your DJ name, and how you got started in this DJ business.
All right. Well, I am DJ DarkFada, representing right now for Charlotte, North Carolina. As far as how I got started in the DJ business, I started when I was 10 years old. So that was like in 1986. So, I was a youngin'. My cousin had moved to. I was in Oklahoma. That's where I grew up at. My cousin had moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he was a DJ, and I was just fascinated with what he was doing. So he just started teaching me the ropes, and we just went from there.
Man, that is cool. At 10 years old.
Yeah, man. I was a little shorty trying to get it in early, so when I think back on it, it was good times though. So I'm glad I started that young. So that's pretty much I've done that all my life, really. Or done this all my life, really.
Now you started off in the vinyl era,
right? 86. It was definitely that was all it was. It was just vinyl. So back then it wasn't any Serato, wasn't CDJs, wasn't any of that. So if you didn't have it back then, you just didn't have it. And that's what it was back then.
Man. So now you're 10 years old, wanting to get into this game. How did this all happen? Did you come across a DJ and wow, I want to do that? How did that happen?
Nah, man, it was just my cousin. I really didn't know too much about it. I was watching back then, my favorite movie was Beat Street. I saw it on TV, but when my cousin moved and he had the equipment, it was over. I was hooked instantly. So, I would be trying to work out every day. I remember waking up in the morning to go to the bus stop and sneaking in my cousin's room while he was still asleep and I tried to get on the turntables real quick. Me and my man Danger One, shout out to him. We started off at the same time, so once I was hooked immediately.
Man,
Back then, I didn't even know it was something you could do to make money or whatever the case. I just did it
real
because it was fun. You know what I'm
at
saying?
10 years old.
Yeah.
So what first records do you remember playing?
We used to work out to "The Roof Is on Fire." I can't even remember who sings the song right now, but the part where he's like, the roof is on fire. I just remember cutting up the roof, and for some reason back then he wouldn't let me spin it past a certain part. I found out later on because he said the reason why the roof is on fire, we don't need no water, let the mother ever burn, but he wouldn't let me get to that part. But I remember, I remember, that record. I remember, what's some other records, man? I can't even think right offhand. But Curtis Blow, I remember that record. LL Cool J. But I was so short. I was a little shorty back then. I was standing on a chair, and he would give me the lessons. And he had the mixer. I forget what kind of mixer it was, but that was before they really had the crossfaders. So he had the mixer turned sideways, and we were kind of using the volume to do the cuts and scratches,
Okay.
whatever. Yeah, that
sounds like one of the old mixes with
like them realistic type Radio Shack joints or something like that.
Oh man! So you're 10 years old. You're cutting on your cousin's. This is 86 time frame. Now, what type of equipment did he have that you played on or got used to?
He didn't have the Technique 1200s. He had the Technique 220s. So anybody that's familiar with that, it's like a belt drive. So he had that. I can't even remember what kind of exactly what the mixer was, but it was like I said, a realistic type joint. I remember he had a crazy equalizer. That's how old that was. He had the equalizer, the amp, speakers, and all that stuff. So I wasn't really familiar with technically what he had specifically, but.
Oh, okay. I think the tech gods are not with us today. He should be back in a few seconds. So let me see who checking in. DJ Cam, what's up? Chris, what's up? Let me make sure he gets back in. Hey, live is live. Let me make sure he joins back in. But excuse me for a second, guys. But yeah, this is DJ DarkFada representing North Carolina. I want to thank everybody for joining, everybody who's here. Big ups to DJ Cam, the official bootlegger of the freeagentradio.com. So let me show off my logo. I hope everybody is doing well. It's been hot out here. We're waiting for our guest to come back on. And hopefully we'll get him back. Hopefully the tech gurus didn't get him. So hey. hey Cam, live is live, right? And I'm hoping the tech gods be with us. It's crazy outside and raining hard right now. So I'm hoping everybody is enjoying these shows. We are here every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Yeah, Cam says this tech thing. I would take y'all behind the scenes with stuff, but I'm hoping this uh we come right back. Ah, so we are having our first official tech issue. I'll be back.
Yo, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Man.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
I'm not sure what happened, man. My bad.
For real. It just popped off and you know.
Yeah. All right. I'm about to share it again, but we can roll.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna pop back on. That's what at least that's what I'm hoping. It'll just pop back on instead of going to a new stream.
Right.
Oh, we're on. Oh, yeah. It did just pop back on. Oh, cool.
Okay.
I told you guys I'd be right back.
Yeah, my bad. Technical difficulties.
We're having tech difficulties. This is what live video does, but we rolling with the punches, so
Right.
ain't nothing gonna stop us. Anyway, we you were talking about the DJ equipment.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure where it cut off, but he just had the regular stuff that you would need back in the day to create mixtapes. 2 turntables, Technique 220s, the equalizer, the Hill equalizer. Matter of fact, that's all that was. He got it from, I'm not sure what they got out there, but he had service merchandise. I remember I went with him to buy it. So, yeah, it was, he had a nice little setup and I was all for it.
Mm. Now, are you originally from North Carolina?
No, I'm originally from Kentucky, but I moved to Oklahoma when I was young, and I stayed in Oklahoma until I was about, I don't know, maybe 22, 23. Then I moved to Maryland, and then I landed in Charlotte, and I've been in Charlotte for 13 years.
Wow. So all of this DJ stuff happened in Oklahoma?
Right. If it wasn't for, I wouldn't say if it wasn't for Oklahoma, but Oklahoma is where I started DJing. That's where I made my first mixtape. That's where I got my first turntables. That's where my first just about everything that a up and coming or starting DJ will experience. That's where it happened for me at. So, I love Tulsa, Oklahoma. Shout out to everybody in Tulsa. That's my city. Yeah.
So now, we know you started at 10 years old. Again, for everybody that's coming in, this is DJ DarkFada, and he's representing North Carolina. So for when did you remember doing your first party or being part of a party? You started at 10, so you still had to be young.
Right. Well, I'm trying to think, man. My first party that I was involved in, I wouldn't say that I DJ'd at it, but I would go to the parties that my cousin was DJing at. So he was in college, and he would be doing, house parties, campus parties, skate parties, stuff like that. So, I would be with him. So every now and then he would let me get on the turntables and do a mix or two. It was never like I just took over for an extended amount of time. But yeah, I remember one time we were at a party at an apartment complex across from where I used to stay at, and it was either Amp Blue or something happened, but there was some downtime. So he just told me to get on the tables, and probably at that time I maybe did three songs.
Now,
I
how old
remember
were you at this college party?
I was probably about this was when Check the Rhyme was out, so that was like 19 maybe 90 because that was one of the records that I remember playing.
Uh-huh.
Maybe 91. I can't remember the exact year, but I was probably uh, I don't know 13, 12, something like that. So,
Still
it got a lot of
okay.
attention. That was one of the first things that I noticed that when you do the DJ stuff, you get a lot of attention, especially when you're young.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people was, they were, I wouldn't say they were fascinated, but I was getting a lot of props, to be young and be able to, not that I was just getting busy, but I knew how to work the equipment and I knew how to bring in song after song,
Yeah.
So that was probably my first. And then I remember being at a skate party with him, and he let me get on. That may have been before the Check the Rhyme, the house party thing, but I remember scratching King's Son I think it was used to be it was called on a club tip or on a smooth tip or something like that, and I mixed that in with 911's a joke, and the people were skating around, and I was at like the front of the skating rink,
Right.
and the chicks were stopping, and they were like, "Oh, he's so young," like, and it was just a lot of attention. But those are some of the memories I had from some of my first experiences with being in the party environment.
So that is way too young. We got international DJ Tommy Lee. I have to do that all the time. He's asking what type of music did they play out there in Oklahoma?
But that's just like somebody saying, "Do black people live in Oklahoma?" Respectfully, I get that all the time. But it's a hip hop. Hip hop was. You got to think back then. That's all it was just the East Coast hip hop, and then you had a little bit of the West Coast. So, we had everything. Like I was saying earlier, Dougie Fresh, Get Fresh Crew, Dana Dane, all of that good stuff. But as I got older and hip hop, kind of matured and it spread out, then that's where the advantage of me living out there comes into play. Because when I was in middle school, when I'm listening to Tribe Called Quest and Tim Dog and all that good stuff, my boys, they're listening to DJ Quick, Too Short,
Right.
Looney Coleon. You probably never even heard of Looney Coleon,
For
Sibo,
real.
stuff like that. So I'm well versed and I understand. First of all, I understand the music because it's like a gang culture. That's where I'm from. Oklahoma is like my guys, they're gangsters. So they were listening to gangster music and I was listening to hip hop. So I had a little bit of everything. So, and plus you have to be able to play for the crowd you're at. So, that they want to hear some gangster stuff and all that. And I know what to play. A DJ from New York or wherever, 9 times out of 10, they couldn't come to Oklahoma and rock the spot. Like I would be able to because, I know the music and I know the culture. So to answer that question, man, we listen to everything. We're actually more well-rounded than a lot of, the East Coast DJs or even the East Coast hip hop lovers. They had to do research to go back and we were living it right there on the spot.
Right. So did you adapt more to the East Coast style or the West Coast style in your DJ style?
The East Coast style, because I was a straight up hip hop dude. Like to me, it wasn't even an East Coast or West Coast thing. It was like either it was hip hop or it wasn't. So, I love hip hop, period. And it's that's what I grew up on. I love break beats. I love samples. So, that's why I kind of like even the West Coast artists like MC8, DJ Quick, people that use samples and use break beats and all that. I love it because, it infuses the hip hop element and the gangster element, but it's got the hip hop touch to it. So,
yeah. Nice. And you're right. As a DJ early in the day, you just get adapted to, and I asked these questions and some other people asked them too, because we had no idea that people even DJ'd. I think I shared this with you out in places like Oklahoma and Midwest places, we just thought it was, and I'm speaking for me.
Right.
I just thought it was an East Coast and a West Coast thing, and Chicago in there a little bit.
Right. Right. No, it's. I mean, it's all the same, really. Wherever you go, man, the hood is the hood wherever you're from, and good music is good music wherever you're from. So it's kind of like living in Oklahoma, and my man Seneca, we have this conversation all the time. Shout out to Seneca the Misfit. He living in Oklahoma, it gives you a different respect for the music, because if you grew up in New York, it's right there in your face.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 24/7. Whereas in Oklahoma, it's not like back then. Like I said, the music was everywhere, but it wasn't as dominant. You know, you live on the same block with Rakim, or you came up on the same block with Big Daddy Kane or somebody like that. It's like it's everywhere in your face, but
Right.
it's a little different out there. So you had to look for it a little bit more, but it's there. Like my cousin, he used to go out of town during the summertime and come back with all types of records. And then his cousin, I'm not his cousin, his roommate in college, which shout out to DJ Noble. He's from Queens.
Oh, I think we lost him again. We are just rolling with these tech issues. So he'll pop back in again. But yeah, hey Seneca, how you doing out there? Um yeah, Tommy Lee, they I think they took more to the West Coast. He was telling me a little bit a little bit earlier about how they took more to the West Coast. And let me make sure he's coming back on. Give me 1 second, everybody. We're gonna get through this. So yeah, what he was telling me, he, he, he didn't understand. Well, I didn't understand about those type of DJs, but and yeah, live TV. uh, you gotta love it or hate it. There's no in between. But what he was telling me was there was a learning thing that he did with both cultures, the East Coast and the West Coast. And us East Coast people, we only knew about the East Coast. So you're right. Some of us couldn't go out there and at the stage we are, or we were back then, we couldn't go out there and rock a party out in Oklahoma or, yeah, yeah, Seneca. And she, um, in Tulsa, you had to dig for hip hop as a DJ. Yeah. And like dude was saying, it was in New York, it's right in our face. So yeah, I do understand. He's reconnecting now, but it's crazy how you know you only get with one culture and stay that and know that. Nowadays, all of my DJ friends, I'm retired. I don't DJ anymore, but I know all my DJ friends. They can rock any type of party that that comes to them, whether it's overseas or whether it's East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, wherever. They can go wherever and kind of kill that party. So you back, DarkFada?
Yeah, man. I don't know where it cut off at, but I was just saying about the don't sleep on Tulsa, because we got a lot of history. Like even in the sports world, did it cut off when I was saying that?
No, you didn't. You didn't get to the sports world.
Yeah, and I'm just saying, it's like, I know you being from New York, you know who John Starks is. He's from Tulsa. R.W. McCorders used to play for the Giants. He's from Tulsa. We had 5 running backs drafted in the draft this year. Tulsa is just one of the best kept secrets. And the Gap Band is from Tulsa. Wayman Tisdale. We got a lot, man. So, you know, there's black people in Oklahoma. There's black people in the music industry. And we are very well represented. And don't forget Black Wall Street. So that's what
I
it is.
don't think. I don't think nobody said there's no black people there.
Well, no, I just say that in
Just
general
that whole
because that's one of the things when I tell people that I grew up in Oklahoma, that's one of the first things, like 98% of the times, that's the first thing they say. Oh, black people that live in Oklahoma, and you know, I just let it go.
Oh, yo, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yo,
But anyway,
how did you get your name?
my name, actually, I used to. Well, to answer the question, my guy, I think Danger One, gave me that name. I'm not sure how he came up with it, but my name used to be DJ Spin, and that was SPEN, and I got that name back in like maybe 1990, and then I became DJ Spin the DarkFada, and then I finally dropped off DJ Spin because when I lived in Florida for a hot second, there was another DJ Spin that was down there, and I just started rolling with DJ DarkFada. At first, it didn't ring to me, but after a while, you know, it felt right. So I started putting a stamp on it.
Did it mean anything, or is just something they
Well,
gave?
it makes sense because, you know, obviously I'm dark skinned and I'm on the crossfader. So you just put the two together and you got DJ DarkFada. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Dark Fader with an F.
Yeah.
So Seneca saying, Dark Fader made me appreciate hip hop once I realized it wasn't as accessible in Tulsa coming from Baltimore.
Yeah.
This is your
Yeah, that's my guy. That's who I DJ for, Seneca the Misfit. We've been rocking since I met him in Oklahoma. He moved out there for a short stint when his grandmother had got sick. You know, God bless. And you know, we met in high school. We clicked. We used to come to the crib, record after school. You know, I had the turntables. He was nice on the mic, and that's back when I used to rap a little bit too. And you know, we've been rolling, doing our thing ever since, man, since like '94. So, you know, salute to him. And so, Mr. Vital too.
When did you leave Tulsa?
I initially left in '98. I went back when Seneca and Mr. Vital moved back. I went back with them, and I was there for a couple of years and being back and forth from Baltimore to Tulsa during that time. That's when my daughter was born. So I moved back to Oklahoma, and you know, for like a year and a half, then I brought my girl, which is my wife right now, back to Maryland, and we were in Maryland for like 8 years.
So you moved to Baltimore,
right?
What was your DJ career like then? You're talking about 98, 99.
Yeah, so 98, 99, I wasn't really doing too much on the DJ tip there. I was more so concentrating on production. Like I copped the MPC right before I moved, and I was working on that. I did a couple of DJ contests up there, like one for 92Q and then one for a DC station. But I was more so in the studio working on my engineering skills and working on the MPC. Excuse me. So it wasn't a whole lot on the DJ tip as far as like I didn't do any clubs there. I don't even think I did any parties there. I think I may have did a birthday party or two, but it was mainly working on the production tip.
Okay. Did you meet with anybody? Did you work with anybody?
Mainly aside from Seneca the Misfit, I mean, no, not really. We just had our own movement. Like we used to have our own little label or whatever, Touch One Records. It was me, his brother, Mr. Vital, and Seneca, and we had a movement. You know, we was getting a little bit of radio play. You know, we were doing our thing. So it was good times, but you know, it's just things change, and as you grow up and mature, it's like I had to make a move to. You know, family wise, to get in a better position. You know, it's not cheap staying in Maryland. So,
real, I know.
You know, so that's when we packed up and made the move to Charlotte, and that was like the best thing that really happened to me aside from my cousin moving to Oklahoma.
DJ Tommy Lee is saying, did you ever play the Baltimore house music?
Oh yeah. I like that. When I used to go there and visit, like in '90, I think the first time I went to Baltimore was like '96, and that's the first time I was exposed to the club music. We went to, I think it was the Paradox or something like that, right where the Raven Stadium is. It used to be down there, but yeah, once I heard that, man, and like I said earlier, man, I love drums. So the drums and the club music was just crazy. So I caught on to that. But yeah, to answer the question, I rock it, and I still rock it to this day when I do my sets, when I go live on Facebook sometimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now you leave Baltimore
Right.
and you head to. This is when you head to North Carolina.
Right. I headed to North Carolina in 2000, 2007. 2007.
Seneca is saying Hammer Jackson Paradox.
Yeah, Hammer Jackson, the Doc. Some beautiful days. Yeah. But yeah.
Oh, yo, but before we get to North Carolina, you got to tell the story of how you got your first DJ equipment.
Yeah. So, actually, there's two, I guess, two stories. I could remind me the other one, but I'll tell you how I got my real, like, the tables, like the Technic 1200s or the 1210s. So I got in a car accident. It's probably like 90, I don't know, 95.
That's not funny, but
yeah. So it wasn't bad. I got rear-ended. For my Tulsa people, I was on 63rd in Peoria. And yeah, I got rear-ended and I got a little check. And instead of getting the car fixed, the moment I was waiting for to get a little paper came, and I copped two turntables. I copped the Technic 1210s and a little Gemini mixer. I think it was what was it? The Scratch Master mixer and the '96 DMC DJ battle, the one with DJ Noise, one where he beat Rock Raiders. So ever since then, that's when I got my first turntables, and actually still have those to this day. Actually, my laptop, it's sitting right here. I've had these turntables since '96, and this is an example of how things that are meant to be are meant to be. I sold these turntables a few years ago when I was like, forget this DJing stuff, I'm done. And then after a while, I got that DJ itch again, and I got online looking for some more turntables, and then coincidentally, the dude that I thought I froze up. The dude that I sold the turntables to hit me almost a year to the day later, asking me that I want to buy the turntables back. So I ran down there and bought the tables back, and I still have them.
Did you get a deal or your own turntables?
Nah, I think I paid about the same that he bought it for. I may have paid a little bit extra, but it was well worth it. But yeah, shout out to DJ Gooch. He's on the radio down in Columbia. But when I got my first turntables, like period, I got them as a Christmas gift. It was like the illest Christmas ever, because you know how normally when I was coming up, I kind of knew what I was getting for Christmas every year. You know what I'm saying?
He was one of them that snuck in and
he
was good.
Yeah. So I woke up that Christmas and I almost had a heart attack. I woke up, it was two turntables, which happened to be my cousin's old turntables, the 220s I was telling you about. A Gemini mixer. It was like a 3-channel. It was a long mixer. I don't even know what kind of mixer it was. A Technics amp, a Technics tape deck, a speaker. I was good to go. So that was like when I got my first turntables, and I was probably about, I think I was in like the 9th grade when that happened. Maybe it was either 9th or 10th grade. So at that point in time, like that's when I really started recognizing myself as a DJ and promote myself as a DJ, like in the 9th grade when I got those turntables. There was no turning back then. So
now that's a real DJ when you go and not fix your car and buy some equipment.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I mean, it's good because the car, I don't even have the car anymore. So I got the turntables, and that's all that matters.
You still got the turntables.
It was an '89 Beretta with silver with the bra. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that thing, I don't even know what happened to it. But I got these tables, and that's all that matters.
Planet anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, yo, that is so funny.
Yeah,
so
man.
Now let's go, because this is where your career really starts to go when you move to Charlotte. Tell us,
Right,
how that whole situation happened.
right. So when I moved to Charlotte, man, I was kind of course, I was new to the area or whatever, and this is back in the MySpace days. So I had I was reaching out to all the DJs in the Charlotte area, just on some, I would send them a message like, "Yo, I just moved to Charlotte, just trying to find some cool DJs to work out with," and I probably sent out about 10 messages, so maybe a little bit more, and only two DJs hit me back. Peace to Butterfingers. I never got to work out with him. He's on Power 98, and then DJ Dice hit me back. He's for those who don't know, he's Redman's DJ, and he's Das Effect's original DJ.
Wow.
And yeah, so he had hit me back, and he's like, "Yo, I'm going overseas tomorrow. I'll be back on this date. Hit me up." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." So I hit him up, and he hit me back. He's like, "Yo, come through. It's my address, and bring some wax if you want cut up." So I went through, worked out with him, and we kicked it, and we clicked, and he kind of introduced me to the whole Charlotte DJ circle. So it's like I was almost a part of that circle almost immediately. So I was, meeting other DJs, working out, networking, and after that, going to shows and hanging with him. Then I was able to work my way in, and me and Seneca got on, and we started going on the road with them. And to this day, we still go on the road, and we open up for Red and Meth. So that's when it really kind of took off for me. Is Charlotte, and it's a lot of dope DJs in Charlotte, man. So shout out to all of them. I met Dice, and I met DJ Short Dog. That's my guy. I met them on the same day, right when I moved to Charlotte. So I did a couple of clubs for a minute here. I got a little spot every now and then on the radio on the holiday weekends, and
Yeah.
everything is lovely, man. For as far as I'm concerned, I'm still pushing.
Man, we should have had Seneca come on and come on with you. Because I
Yeah,
know
man.
y'all got some stories to tell.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of stories.
You touring out there with Redman and Method Man. How was
Right. Yo, it's lovely, man. I don't even use the word blessing, but it's a blessing. I don't even know another word. It's kind of like we network, we get out there and we do our own things. Like we go in, we do our show, we get our props, we promote ourselves, and we make a name for ourselves. So it's like they're basically like our mentors. Like we'll be on stage, we'll come off, and Meth will pull us aside and be like, "Yo, when you do this, or don't do that and do that." So they're just kind of schooling us to the game. And it's all love. The whole team. Shout out to Red Meth, Street Life, Seven Nut. Everybody hands on. They treat us like family. So they're a big part of both of our respective stories, myself and Seneca.
right?
Yeah, and DJ Dice too, man. I gotta salute him because he really looked out from day one. He's like a very humble guy, and for him to be where he's at, man, he's just very down to earth, man. He showed a brother love, so I salute that.
Yeah, we'll get him on one day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's got some good stories to tell. My stories, I don't really think they're too interesting, but he's got industry stories, and I know everybody loves to hear good industry.
Everybody's story is interesting.
Yeah.
Now, when a lot of people don't know, but Redman DJs too.
Right. Right.
Now,
And he'll get on after some of the shows, and after everything is over, and he'll get on the turntables and do a little something at the shows just after they're breaking everything down. So yeah, he's pretty nice.
so he is good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's good. He got skills. He can go back and forth. He can scratch. He can cut. He can do all of that. So
All right, we got to get Redman on this show too.
yeah, yeah. And he's a cool dude. All of them really cool. When it comes down to it, they show love. So but yeah, he gets busy on the tables.
Now we have a DJ, one of international DJ Tommy Lee, one of his boys. His name is DJ Block, and he's out there in Charlotte also.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know him or not, but he's in that radio circuit too.
Right.
From
Yeah.
television.
I've heard the name. I've just never met them. But you know, like I said, Charlotte has a lot of dope DJs, man. It's
Yeah.
like it's kind of like almost like you know how Philly have a lot of dope DJs. There was some cool DJs in Baltimore, but Charlotte has a ton of dope DJs. I mean, like even I think Melstar is down here. You know, DJ Melstar. It's a lot of dope DJs in Charlotte.
Man, I'm
Yeah,
gonna definitely get you guys connected because
yeah,
y'all could be running stuff out there.
absolutely,
Mm. So
absolutely.
so now, besides Redman and Method Man, have you guys toured out with anybody else?
Well, we haven't necessarily toured. You know, I say you know tour with Red and Meth because we've done a lot of shows with them. So, I mean, we've done shows with um, Mobb Deep, Recipes Project. That's like my favorite group of all time. Mobb Deep, Keith Murray, Mr. Cheeks, uh, KRS One, Lords of the Underground. Shout out to Dude, Jazz and Funk. Um, I can't even think, but we've done a few. Busta Rhymes, Rod Digger. You know, we just we get in where we can get in, man, and we hold our own too. Oh, and we did a show. We've done it like we did the Lincoln Park Music Festival, man, and I remember when it was one show we did. It was like the dopest show as far as the lineup ever. It had like, and I know I'm gonna miss some people. It had MOP, Red and Meth, Rod Digger, Black Rob, uh,
Wow,
Kwame.
heavy hitters.
Yeah, Ed Lover was the host. Um, damn, who else it had, man? It had EPMD. It had about 20 artists on there that were legendary artists. And it was like, matter of fact, it just came up as a memory on my Facebook page, man. It was probably like 4 or 5 years ago. But yeah, we've done a lot of shows.
Where is that? So for the people who don't know,
Oh, that's in Newark, New Jersey, Lincoln Park Music Festival. They have it every summer. We've done it like 4 years in a row. Um, but yeah, man, it's like where they have local talent that's there, and then they have the major artists is there. It's like a weekend takeover. So they have gospel on Sunday, they have hip hop on Saturday, they have R&B or whatever on Friday. It's a beautiful thing, man, and all of our people come out, you know, and just celebrate music. It's peaceful, and Do It All was kind of the director of it for a while. I'm not sure if he still is, but it's um it's a beautiful thing, man. New Jersey. Shout out to Newark too because they showed us a lot of love. That's like one of our biggest fan bases because Do It All, you know, he really showed us some love. We go to the studio out there at 211. Shout out to them, Super Ears, and we record and just hang out, man. They show us love.
yeah, Sky is saying that's the year y'all met.
Yeah, yeah, and that was crazy. Shout out to Sky because man, he's a good dude, man. I met him. I forget what year it was, but he was going on. I think right before us, he was either DJing for Mike Hands or Royal Flush, one of them, and he had some technical issues with his laptop. And I helped him out a little bit. We got it straight. But then it come to find out, neither one of us got to go on because when Brand Nubian was on, which they were going on after them, the power went out and the generators fell, and they shut everything down. But yeah, salute Sky, man, and his whole team. Yeah, but that was probably one of our most memorable shows as far as the lineup. But my most memorable show, just as far as being a DJ and doing a Red and Meth thing, we did Buffalo a few years ago, and it was outside a spot called Canal Side, and it was like I was estimating about 10,000 people out there, but when the article came out, it said it was 30,000 people out there.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I remember getting to the venue because I was DJing for Hands On Set. Shout out to them in the Meth Lab. And when I walked up the stairs to the back of the stage and looked out at the crowd, like we drove around, you couldn't really tell how many people was out there. But when I walked up the stairs to the stage and looked out in the crowd, man, I almost passed out. It was so many people out there, but Buffalo showed us love, man. So shout out to Buffalo. But that was like my most memorable.
The other New York.
Yeah, Buffalo, man. They showed us love, man.
Oh man. So I heard you say a little while back that you almost was gonna quit DJing.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, I was just going through a transition in my life, man, as far as just trying to get being able to separate being DarkFada from being Troy. You know what I'm saying? That's my government. So it's kind of like I was DarkFada all the time. So I just had to take a step back, and I knew if I had the tables in the house and access to it and everything, it would be hard to kind of get my mind right. So it was just a personal decision. Like my cousin did it back in the day. Now he went a little further than I did. Like he threw away a gang of records back in like '88. It's like just hundreds of records. But yeah, man, I was just trying to get myself right, man, get my mind right, and it worked. And once I felt I was ready to come back to the music, that's what I did. And then the way that the gods and the stars and the planets align, with the odds, I get my turntables right back, So
a year later,
yeah, like I was on suspension,
but you got rid of, so
yeah,
they didn't want to leave you.
Like I leased them out, but I feel like if I had to do it again, I would do it again, because being in the industry, not that I'm like an industry type of person, like I'm big and all that, but you can kind of lose focus on who you are,
Yeah,
and not be grounded. I've always been humble, but it's like in your personal life, you got to make sure that you're doing your duties as a man, not just your duties as a DJ.
right.
So, but I found my balance, and I'm back, and I'm right here talking to my man, the big dog. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So now, tell me your transition from vinyl to digital. How long did it take? When did it happen? Were you one of the early adopters or the late bloomers, just waiting to see what everybody else was going to do?
Yeah, I was a late bloomer, man. So I didn't transition until like it was probably 2000, maybe 13, 2012. Yeah, so I still had records, and I was on a Serato, excuse me, and my man Dice, he's the one that turned me on to Serato. So he was even to the point where he let me hold his Serato box when the Serato box was when he still had that.
SL1.
Yeah, the SL1. And then when he got the 57, he let me hold. This is even when I didn't even have a laptop. He let me hold his laptop, and he let me hold the 57, the Rain 57 mixer. So once I got on it, I was like, okay, this feels right because it feels like vinyl, and I like that vinyl feeling. Like I've never even been on CDJs, but maybe one time at Sam Ash or Guitar Center, just playing around on it. So
The toy store.
yeah. So I really, once I really got onto it, like my adaptability skills in certain areas are not good, but I didn't want to switch over. I was stubborn, but once I got on, that was like the best thing known to DJs because I didn't have to carry all them damn crates. I didn't have to, do any of that. It's a beautiful thing, Serato.
That's where all your music is, right?
Absolutely. The hard drive. Yeah, man. And I learned the hard way with the hard drives because I didn't have my stuff backed up once before when I first started.
Ooh.
And I dropped the hard drive and I had so much music on there and it broke. And that was another time where I was like, I remember posting online, I was like, man, I'm finished with this DJ stuff. Because, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to get my music back. But, when you, I always say loyalty keeps favors on deck. And when I posted that, man, so many of my DJ partners reached out to me. He's like, yo, I got this, I got that. I'm going to send you this. So, I guess being a good dude always keep good favors on deck, man.
Oh, show.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it take you to do? Because we have, with all the DJ interviews, we have between like 72 hours to 5 years to do the full switch over. How long did it take you?
Man, I was instant. Like as soon as I got that, like I even went out and bought the SL1 box. So as soon as I got it, man, I said, forget these records, and I spent days and weeks and months downloading music just so I would be able to, have everything. Because I mean, it's like a DJ's dream. It's like I said earlier, if you didn't have it on wax, you didn't have it. But with the Serato, you can just download the MP3, and you instantly got doubles. You know what I'm saying? So,
you used to get the crates from Royal Farms.
Oh yeah, all DJs used to steal crates. Come on now. Yeah.
Oh,
He was right there with me, helping me jack them crates too.
He was stealing it with you.
Yeah, Yeah, but yeah, I switched over, man, like almost immediately. So it was a beautiful thing, man.
Nice. For everybody who's joining in, we have DJ DarkFada
Yes, sir.
representing Charlotte Corp, North Carolina,
That's right.
by way of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Forever. No, Nate. So yeah, man. But Serato, man, I love Serato. So I had to start off with the SL1 and got the 57, and then I just upgraded to the uh, the Pioneer. That's 9. And the reason I updated to that, man, I had a little horror story on the road at one of the shows where. And again, it goes back to Dice. He always get me straightened out, but my mixer wasn't reading, or my laptop wasn't reading the mixer because I had the Rain 57 software on there.
Right.
So it was like right up until to crunch time. We almost wasn't going to be able to. Well, we would have been able to perform because I keep all that stuff on a flash drive or key drive, but it was kind of like, man, after that show and I had those issues with it not, it's like me stressing and all of that before a show that we weren't going to be able to. Well, I wasn't going to be able to perform like I want to perform. I immediately came home and I copped the S9 because it's no good. It's no fun knowing that you're supposed to go on in about 20 minutes.
Know that.
And your laptop won't read.
So another thing with interviewing the other DJs, what's your backup plan with your equipment? Do you carry multiple laptops? Do you carry multiple hard drives or thumb drives with music on it? What do you do?
Well, I don't carry multiple laptops. I probably should, but I do carry, like I keep all of Seneca's performance tracks or the show tracks on my laptop, so I don't have to plug in a hard drive. 'Cause, a hard drive anything can zap out or come loose or whatever. So, but I do keep that extra little. I got 2 flash drives that I keep in my bag with all of our music on there. So just in case, something happens with my laptop, hopefully there's a DJ that will. And this did happen to me. Matter of fact, at one of the Lincoln Park Music Festival. Shout out to my man DJ Cheese. He won the DMC back in the day.
You talking about Cheese with the 1200s group?
Yeah, DJ Cheese, a dark skin swole, what I'm saying? Yeah, he was there, and I had some issues with my laptop, but I had our music on a little flash drive, so I was able to plug in to his laptop and rock for our show, you know what I'm saying? So, and that goes back to doing favors. Like it was one time at the Keith Murray show where DJ Goomba, shout out to my man Goomba, he had some issues with his laptop. And he said he was asking all the other DJs if he could use their laptop for their set. And he asked me, I was like, yeah, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? I got my logo on the front. I'm not sure if you mind that, but, show them love or whatever. And, when you show love, you get love, man. So it was lovely that Cheese held me down because, man, I've never been in a situation where we got on up to the stage and never been able to perform because of technical issue aside from when the generator went out. But he held me down, man. We were able to do our show, man. So shout out to my man, DJ Cheese.
That's one of the things with the early adopters with the digital, with Serato and Virtual DJ and all the rest of them, that they had a lot of issues and kind of didn't trust it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Just wasn't sure.
Right. And I think that's one of the things that kind of prevented me or delayed me from going with the Serato. Cause I got that old school mentality, man. It's like, if something can go wrong, like what if it lock up? It's like my records ain't gonna lock up. You know what I'm saying?
A needle could break.
Yeah, and I was about to say, and I got an extra needle in the bag. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but it took me a while to get there, man. But I got there.
So where are you now? What have you been doing pre-virus?
So after the virus hit, man, like I always had went online and went live or whatever.
Okay, you did.
I started doing that a little more. I have a podcast that I've had on Podomatic for maybe 8 years or so. So I started making more mixes. Really and truly, like the virus thing for me personally as a DJ, It was one of the best things that happened to me because I got more focus and I had more free time. So, I started making more mixes, started posting more on my Podomatic. And then me and my guy, Danger One, who, we both started out DJing together that I was speaking on earlier.
Yeah.
We started our own radio station, which is thebeastradio.com. So it's basically a station where it's got a lot of the golden era 90s stuff. It's heavy on that, but we incorporated some of the newer stuff. So you could hear, it could go from freaking Gemini, the Gifted One, Brooklyn Kids to, I don't know, Fabulous and Jadakiss, The Hope, but it's all bangers. It doesn't have any, when I post, it's no fluff, no mumble rap. It's just boom bap hip hop. So I like to call it the hip hop fans' ultimate station. You're not going to hear anything. My goal is to, when somebody tunes in, that they don't want to turn. I don't want anything weak to be playing when somebody tunes in for the first time. And we've been doing some numbers. Like I'm pleasantly surprised at the numbers that we've been getting. So shout out to everybody that's been showing love, coming through, reposting, sharing, and all that stuff for thebeastradio.com. And shout out to my man Danger One. We started out together. We still rocking, man. We over like 30, 34 years in the game together, man. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that is nice. Thebeastradio.com, everyone.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
now, did this virus kind of disrupt your year with live parties?
Well, with the live parties, no, because I don't even do live parties anymore. It's like I've never been a fan of doing live parties. I've never been a fan of doing the clubs or any of that, man. So it's kind of like I prefer, like a lot of people, when you tell them they DJ, they ask you what club you DJ at or what's, something like that. But a lot of people don't understand there's different aspects of the DJ game. Like I consider myself more of a mixtape DJ. And when I say mixtape DJ, I mean like blends, not just, playing songs and introducing them and playing, the new exclusive from this person. It's like, just a straight up blend. So it didn't interrupt me at all because I didn't have any parties planned. The only thing that it did do, we had like 3 shows that were canceled with Red and Meth. Like we had a show, I think it was like in like Massachusetts, and then we do 420 in Denver with them for like, this would have been our 4th or 5th year straight with them. That got canceled. There's like 3 or 4 shows that got canceled, but we'll get those back. But to answer your question, it didn't interrupt me as far as any DJing gigs. I can make mixes and I can post at any time, so I'm keeping it moving.
Nice. So I seen you also on what was it? Mixcloud? Did I see you on Mixcloud?
Yeah, I'm on basically everything, man.
A couple of your mixes on Mixcloud.
Yeah, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Podomatic. I post them on all of them.
Or it could have been SoundCloud.
Yeah.
One of the clouds.
Yeah, I post on there. Podomatic is like my main one because it's connected to the RSS feed. So whenever I post it, it goes everywhere. Mixcloud, I do them all, man. But I mainly post to Podomatic, man. I got a bigger following on Podomatic, man.
Right.
They show it. Yeah. So
is it legal to post music there?
Yeah, they take care of the licensing and all of that, man. That's why I hate Facebook. Like even when I go live, like even yesterday, man, I got notifications that UMG, Universal Music Group, has claimed your video. And I look at the video, and it's videos I posted 3 months ago. I'm like, what do they have? What are they doing? You know what I'm saying? So
it just caught up.
Yeah, but yeah, I still go live on Facebook. I just haven't gone live as much once we started getting the beastradio.com together. It's like I didn't have as much time, so I spend all of my time, like I sit right here in the same spot all day, every day, getting music together and networking and promoting for the station, man, because like my motivation is seeing these numbers that come through. It's like I'm overwhelmed. I really didn't think that it would take off like it took off, but we're moving.
Wow, I'm happy for you. Yeah,
appreciate it.
If you got any questions for DJ DarkFada, go ahead and post them. We're going to start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of last few questions.
Okay.
What was what was one of your best events that you remember? One that sticks out and like, yo, this one was the best. You told us a couple of horror stories already.
Right. I don't know. Aside from, I'm trying to think of just one of just me DJing because a lot of them are with the, doing the shows with Silica and Red and Methamphetamine. But I think, like when I was in high school, I'm trying to think, man. Like in high school, I remember I did a party. Um, it was after a basketball game. I think, matter of fact, we played. Like I went to Memorial High School, and we were all that. We were winning state and all that. We played. It was either McLean or Booker T. And I did me and my boy Keontae Jones. Shout out to Keontae. We had planned to do a party after the game, and we made up flyers and all that and printing them out. And these are just handwritten flyers. We just went into someplace, might have been someplace at school, and printed them out. But anyway, man, it was so packed in there. And it was at a clubhouse at an apartment complex across from the building that I lived in, and it was so packed. And they even came and shut us down because it was a curfew. But after there was a crazy after party at two different houses. But when I got to school the next day, I can't remember if it was the next day or the next Monday because it may have been Friday night game.
He was the man, huh?
Yeah, and there was a chick that came up to me, Amanda Mahoney. I remember like it was yesterday. She was like, she was saying how she felt like she was in a Dr. Dre video. Like this is back when Nothing But a G Thing and yeah, I think it was Nothing But a G Thing when they were partying on the beach and they were in like a little, looked like a little building or whatever, and everybody drinking 40s and all that stuff. It was crazy, but yeah, she came to school the next day, and that was like one of my most memorable things, man. I just remember that day. Matter of fact, my man Gary G, I used his speakers because that's before I had speakers. When I did get some speakers, I was killing them. But yeah, I used his speakers. That's another thing that happened too. One of the turntables had broke, or I thought it did. So I DJ'd that party with one turntable and a CD player. He had like a 6-disc CD changer, and I DJ'd that party or whatever. But yeah, man,
he was innovative.
Yeah, those are the good old days, man. Like going record shopping. I miss going record shopping, and I still remember, the first records that I bought personally is kind of like those are the good old days. Like I bought, like I had a bunch of records, but because I got them from my cousin and DJ Noble, who was his roommate. But the first records I went and bought from a record store called Buttons was I bought Naughty by Nature, Ghetto Bastard, and MC Light. What was that joint called? Poor Georgie. I bought those on the same day. So, it was those were the days. But as far as the speakers, like I was saying, man, I had some speakers, man. And a lot of people think I'm lying when I told them this. People that came to my crib would know this. I had 2 PV speakers, but they were boxes, and they were square boxes.
Right.
Each box had 4 12-inch subs in them. So I had basically 8 12-inch subs in my room, and then I had another 12. So I had 9 12-inch subs in my room. I was rocking. The lady downstairs in my building would be banging on the ceiling. Yeah, man.
It probably felt like it was gonna fall.
Yeah. So that was. I still got pictures of it, man. So doing that and making mixtapes and all that, man. It's like that's the background I come from, man. So I'm just glad that I was able to continue to do it. And I just want to shout out my big cousin, John Clark, aka DJ Icy Ice, man. It's like without him, I probably would not be DJing, and he passed me the torch, man, and I learned a lot from him, and I ran with it. He taught me how to make mixtapes. It was to the point back in the day when I was like in the 8th grade, he would write down the order of the mixes. He would put the mix together and just have me do the mix. So, that's why I learned a lot from him, man. So and we're only 8 years apart, but when you're young like that, it was like he's like my father figure. So when I'm 10, he's 18. That's a big difference back then, So shout out to him, man, and shout out to Ruben, aka DJ Noble. He taught me how to work the MPC. Learned from him. He was a dope DJ. Like I said, he was from Queens, so I had a lot of good influences to get me to where I'm at, man.
Yeah, man. That it sounds like it. Are you still producing?
Nah, man, I sold my MPC probably back in 2000. I don't know, 2000, right around the same time when I got the SL1 because it was just sitting.
Okay.
So I sold it. I still know how to work it, and I taught Seneca how to work the MPC, and he really just ran with it. So we got that Neck Brace Productions. Like if you cop Seneca's album, all the beats on there, he did all the joints. So he got nice with it, man. So I just passed on the tradition to him. He's doing his thing.
So, last couple of questions.
All right.
What would you tell a brand new DJ that's coming into the business? Know anything yet? You took a different path than other DJs.
Right.
We've had DJs that do clubs.
Right.
We have DJs that do block parties. Massive events. You took the route of the mixtape type thing. We lost them, and hopefully we'll get them back. Yeah, Seneca. I hear that. But thank everybody for coming on. DJ Danger One, Seneca. Let me see who else was checking in. Laurie. Yeah, he's coming back. We had a couple other people. We had my boy James checking in. What's up, James? My Army buddy. We had DJ Sky checking in. We'll get DarkFada back in a second so we can answer these last questions. And we can be on our way. The tech gods have been too good to us.
Yeah. All right. So you froze up. You were asking something about
What would you tell a brand new DJ that's coming into the business that don't know anything, anybody? What advice would you give that person, male or female?
First of all, man, just love what you're doing. And study the craft, like do your history and go back and look at some of the dope DJs and understand what you're good at, your strengths and your opportunities, and work on them. Like me personally, man, it's like I used to look up to a lot of DJs and watch a lot of DJ films, man. Like I love watching Rock Raider, Total Eclipse, you know what I'm saying? All the execution was Sinister, all of them. But just study the craft and practice. Like I learned that from Dice, man. It's like I used to kind of be lazy with it, but it's like he told me, get on the tables every day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And once I started doing that, that's when I kind of started seeing improvements, and then believe in yourself and figure out what you want to do and go for it. Like if you just want to do mixtapes, then do mixtapes. If you want to do clubs, whatever the case may be, you got to network. Especially nowadays with the internet, it's all about networking, and unfortunately nowadays it's not really how nice you are, it's who you know. Like they say, it's not what you know, it's who you know. But get yourself in the game and respect the craft. That's my advice.
Yeah,
just work with other DJs, work out. Like you get good. What they say, iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yeah, work with some other DJs. Because if you work out by yourself all the time, it's cool to to work out by yourself. But I use this analogy all the time with Seneca. It's kind of like going to the gym and shooting jumpers by yourself. You know what I'm saying? Or practicing your moves. You're thinking you're nice until you get in a real game and you understand that there's people out there just as nice as you are. So you can learn from, competition. You play up to your competition and excel over that competition. So just practice. That's the main thing. And believe in yourself.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. So, last question. You've been on the DJ interview. Who do you know needs to be here to tell their story?
Um, of course, DJ Dice. Um, probably your man DJ Cheese. Um, who else? Danger has a nice little story. Um, trying to think who else, man. My guy DJ B, man. He's from Charlotte. He beat me in a DJ contest that I was in. And he's young and he's nice.
Yeah.
Um, who else, man? I'm just trying to think of some names and they're not like
Well,
Rob Swift and you know stuff like that. Just you know,
not on that level just yet. Give me
nah,
another
you nah,
episode.
you're there, man. You just don't realize it yet. You know, DJs, or at least me, I think that all DJs want to be recognized for their contribution to the game. Like I haven't contributed as much as Rob Swift and all these people, but I put in work.
Oh yeah.
Uh, so and I say all the time, I'm not the nicest DJ, but I gets busy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
Yeah.
Lord Jazz, DJ Lord Jazz, you definitely want to reach out to him.
And that's
Um,
one of the reasons why I started this community because, I've never heard of you until DJ Sky introduced us.
yeah, yep, and that's all about, like I
It's
said, it's about networking.
it's a shame that some people, even in my neck of the woods where I'm from, I'm in Virginia now, but where I'm
Mm,
from in the Bronx, there's DJs that don't know each other from borough to borough.
right, right. It's all about networking, man.
And it's
That's
about
what it's all about.
that's why I
And
want to bring this community in and your boys that's on here now, if you guys, think this is cool, join this group. This
yeah,
is a community. I'm not having thousands and millions of people here. It's going to be exclusive.
right,
It's not. It's going to be one of those type of groups where we can congregate and communicate with each other. People may want to know, hey, who's out in Charlotte?
right. And it's a good look because I mean, there. I wouldn't say unfortunately, but are. It's easy to be a DJ or try to be a DJ nowadays. So that's why you haven't heard about a lot of DJs that are dope because I wouldn't say it's oversaturated, but there's a lot of DJs and there's a lot of dope DJs. So, this is a good platform and I appreciate the platform because you're interviewing and talking to DJs that a lot of people may not have heard of that maybe need to be recognized. So,
Yeah.
and my man Seneca, he brought up DJ Gabby the Gift. That's my guy. You probably may not have heard of him, but he's nice and he's an actor slash comedian. He was on Dave Chappelle, like on the Prince skit where they're playing
Okay.
basketball. He's one of the dudes that's on there, man. He's nice too.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, man.
Definitely looking for the underdog DJ because you guys are well known in your area, but we don't. And we meaning some of us don't
Right,
know you guys.
right.
I was telling you about DJ Block. He's
Mhm.
in your neck of the woods, and you may have heard of him or may have seen his name, but you know
Yeah.
it's right there. I know you said it's a lot of DJs,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, shout out to my man DJ Bass. You want to reach out to him too. He DJ for CeeLo Green. He's out here. I mean, look, I'm not exaggerating when I say there are a lot of dope DJs in Charlotte. They're Charlotte is, man. I love Charlotte because anything that you want is really here. They got dope DJs. They got some dope MCs. Anything that comes through concert wise comes through. I mean, they got the basketball, the football, baseball. They got everything. So and it's a lot of us here.
yeah,
It's a lot of black folks here that's doing things, and man, I love it. I love it.
I hear you, bro. Well, we are gonna wrap this thing up, and I appreciate everything. We'll track down some of these DJs and eventually get everybody on to tell their story. That's what this place is for, to tell your story. You have a story. You think your story wasn't interesting, but I'm sitting here as a
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
yo,
I really don't think I'm too interested, man. I guess because I'm just, humble like that. But you
yeah,
know, I enjoy doing it because I got to tell my story, and like you were saying when we were conversating uh, the other day. I'm sorry, when we were conversing the other
convert.
day. Yeah, there's a lot of people. I know quite a few people, in real life that they just know that I'm a DJ. Like most people that meet me, I've been DJing so long. There are not many people that knew me before. When they met me, I was a DJ. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Even in high school. So it's like not a lot of people know exactly, how it
You
was.
became. So hopefully
Right,
enough of them seen this and can relate to you just a little bit more. Like, okay, you's a real person. You went through struggles. You
right,
went through this. You went through that.
right. Right. So yeah, man, I appreciate you for having me on, man, and the platform that you're creating, for DJs. We need this, man. So it's an honor to be on here, man.
I
Definitely.
I thank you. So I'm gonna turn you down. Hold on for a second while I
All
make
right.
my closing. So once again, we are finished with our DJ interview. We had DJ DarkFada representing Charlotte, North Carolina. So we'll be back here like every Tuesday, 8 o'clock ish. This is Harry the Big Dog with the DJ interview, and I am out of here.